Mr. Terrific, Year 1, Issue 5, Al Letson, writing with Valentine De Landro on the art. So, yeah, this book's been very good, and I think it's still excellent, with the little caveat that the opening set in the present day, I still feel is unnecessary, and every time I start one of these issues, I'm like, oh yeah, forget that we have to do this first before we get to the main part of the book.
Look, I know where this is building to. I know it's going to be a face-off between Mr. Terrific and what's her name? The one that's running the energy in the past story. And that's fine. I don't really know what's going on in there, and I don't think I need to. I think the main crux of the story in the past is doing a lot more for me than anything.
Like, I am loving the main part of this book, which is like 85 to 90% of it. But I think this one annoyed me a little bit more than the opening than the other issues, because Fairplay shows up, and I'm like, I feel like I'm meant to be really like caring about the fact that Fairplay, which is Mr. Terrific's son, long lost son at that, is showing up. So it feels like a little bit of a hodgepodge, and I'm like, I almost wish the collection just took out these parts. It just presented the rest of it as a Year 1 story. Because once we get to that, you know, we've got Mr. Terrific going back to his own city. Bruce Wayne, he's like, hey Bruce, can you help me buy this company back so they can't turn on this Nexus engine? You know, like, let's do that. I've got money.
He tells him, he's like, I have money, but you got a fortune. I love that. I love him, appealing to Bruce there. You know, like, use your money for good, bud.
And he keeps throwing his money around as well, because then he's like, hey, I want to set up clinics in like this part of the city where all people are getting sick. And he's like, that's going to cost a lot of money, Mr. Well, they don't call him Mr. Terrific because it's not his name, but Holt, Mr. Holt. Mike Holt. That was an Arrested Development joke for those who didn't get it.
Mike.
He should have named his son Steve, God damn it. Anyway.
Steve Holt.
Yeah.
Steve Holt. But I also like to see that he's developing his T-spheres more and more. Like, we're getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, but he's still very
tinkering.
Yeah, but he's still very much, I'm not a hero. That's not for me. I'm out of that game. And then Black Lightning shows up and says, hey, we need to talk. And I love that Michael, Mr. Terrific, is like immediately like, take that stupid mask off. I'm not talking to you with that clown get up on.
Hey, get down before my neighbors see you.
Yeah,
you know, as he comes to the balcony,
he's embarrassed, and then basically over the course of the conversation, like, one, they have it out a little bit that he didn't make it to his wedding, like, you know, Jefferson didn't get there because he was doing Justice League business or Outsiders business.
I was on a mission. Yeah, it's like, all right, whatever, bro.
Yeah, but he's like, look, you can't stay out of this, and you're asking for help to deal with this and stop the Nexus engine because you can't help but want to do the right thing. And he's like, you're saying you're not a hero. But how do you think I became a hero? Because I kept not being able to stay out of things, because I kept wanting to do the right thing. So ultimately, when the big thing happens and the explosion goes off, which we'll get to in a second, he's like, look, I need to go because stuff's happening and you're coming with me. And it seems like he's pretty easy to convince at that point. So, you know, I think their friendship's been really interesting in this. I love like that friendship exists and it's getting a chance to kind of blossom. You know, it's I'm trying to like I don't want to sound weird here, but like, I feel like, you know how sometimes writers or like people when they're talking about TV shows, movies, comics, whatever, and it's like really pointed out that, you know, we have the Bechdel test for when two women have a conversation but don't talk about a man, and it's kind of nice because it's showing that, hey, these are fully fleshed characters. And it's nice to have women who are just friends or women who are supporting each other. I kind of felt like here I'm getting a little bit of like an appreciation for the fact that there's two black characters who are friends, who have histories that are fleshed out, who are there to support each other. And it feels quite nice because we don't get it that often. You know, I'm feeling similar kind of vibes from how you talk about when you're talking about it's nice to have two women supporting each other, you know?
Well, yeah, and the fact that there's a tension between them that gets resolved and it feels real. It feels like an actual conversation that friends would have, you know, where he's like, you know, you've been ducking me since you and Paula got married. It's like, well, you've been playing superhero, and you know, he's like, you were just mad. And like the way that they come to it, and just the way that DeLandro's art with their expressions, where it's not a lot, right? It's a 9-panel grid, but just the way that he has them positioned with their posture, slight looks and everything, you could just follow the conversation even without the dialogue, right?
Yeah,
but the dialogue makes it that much more.
And I think the art is down to earth, and it is just a grid because it doesn't want to make this flashy. It wants to make it just raw emotions. Right. It's straight to the point. It's the characters having these conversations. Meanwhile, Miss Prescott, you know, the lady at the company with the Nexus engine, she wakes up because if you remember last issue, she went in with the hazmat suit even though it was probably going to kill her because she's so scared of not succeeding because Darkseid's going to do unforeseen things to her.
Darkseid owns her soul. So, you know.
Yeah. So she's
and she is jacked up.
Oh yeah, she's in the hospital and she's not supposed to leave, but she's like, no, we're turning on that engine now. We're doing it today. Let's get back to the lab. So it's against her lawyer's wishes, against everyone's wishes. She's insisting on going. But of course, the other thing we set up last issue is that was it Cormorant's the name of the guy that was like the head of security? He now has it in for her because she fired him. And so he actually has planted explosives, and I actually didn't know who was doing this at first, but we get these like close-up panels of him looking at a timer on his watch, and it's counting down to something. And I like that right before the explosion goes off, you see her looking like Miss Prescott's looking at her hand, and it's glowing purple. Almost as if, I mean, obviously it's sort of starting to maybe go Kirby Crackle, and we kind of see maybe hints of that in later pages, but it's almost like it's like a sensing the explosion is going to go off, because then the next page is boom, big explosion, and Cormorant comes out, starts opening fire, and that obviously is what calls in Mr. Terrific and Black Lightning to the scene. So they show up and have their big superhero moments where, you know, Lightning can go off and try and contain the explosion, save people. Mr. Terrific is after Cormorant and get some, you know, fun moments here. I like the, again, the layouts aren't overly, like, flashy, but there is, like, a fun page here when Terrific's fighting Cormorant and he's got the T-spheres hitting his face, where they intentionally have the panels going, like, basically off page is the best way I can put it, where most of these pages have gutters, right? And there's gutters at the bottom of this page. But these like sort of like sequences here at the top, the panel like starts as if it's coming off frame, which is pretty normal. But what makes it feel like it's going off page is that the start of the panel is on the right hand side.
Around. Yeah.
So you get this feeling of like the T-spheres coming full circle and swinging around and hitting them. So it's really, really nice. It's a really nice little touch.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and just that they're coming from all angles too, right? Like we're not getting the same angle of them striking Cormorant. So I love all that. And then the last set of panels that does that, it all comes back into focus where it plays out. It's still the three panels,
but they're in the right order.
Out sequentially. Yeah. It's so cool. And then we also get, you know, you brought up in the last book we were talking about the influence of the Superman movie.
Oh yeah, he says a line basically.
He says the line.
Yeah,
you know, which is great because this is his first outing as Mr. Terrific. You know. Yeah,
because I wouldn't say that I've been hearing that actor's voice like as Mr. Terrific as I've been reading, because I don't do that for most people, to be fair. But it was hard not to hear it a little bit when he said, "I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific," because you know, like you know, I just bought that movie like yesterday. By the way, I own the movie now. So
nice,
fun. But no, it was, you know, it's a good fight scene, and he's like, you know, I'm always going to be here to stop people like you, and it kind of feels like he's kind of committing to the hero life a little bit. So yeah, the final page is him and Black Lightning standing tall, and it feels like we've reached a pivotal point. However, in the background, if you pay attention, we're not done yet, because Prescott seems to have turned into a living embodiment of Kirby Crackle, and she's floating back there. So I feel like they're going to have a bigger fight on their hands with the final issue. Yeah. So fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
I also loved when Cormorant, when that starts going off, and just the difference in the colors, right? Like he's looking through the scope, so it's all green, and then it goes down to that kind of drab because he's dropping like the smoke or whatever. That's what I took that as, right? All the white over the paintings, and then it goes back to the green, and then when Terrific and Black Lightning jump in, right, the background goes red, and they're dodging bullets, and they're being witty and stuff, and just the progression over that page, I thought was really well handled.
Yeah. No, I mean, the book's really good stuff. Honestly, I almost just wish that present day stuff at the start. And I'm wondering how it's going to work out next issue, because I feel like it would make more sense to go at the end of next issue, given that it's probably going to wrap up. Well, you know?
Yeah. Because we got to see how he initially deals with Athena, right? And then we have to see how that's causing the problems for him in the current day, right?
So I just hope it
would make sense.
I hope it's kept to a minimum. I hope it's still mostly the year one story, because the year one story is fantastic.
Yes.
You know, and I think, you know, that opening, I'm docking at a half point specifically for those first few pages where I just don't care about this modern day stuff that much. I don't care about how this ties into what's going on with the current storylines. I really don't. I just like the year one story. I think it's very good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and anybody that's told me that they like Mr. Terrific after, you know, talking to them about the Superman movie, I've been recommending this. I'm like, I'm sure you can go and find the first issue if you want to collect it physically, but if you want to get it digitally, they're all there.
Yeah, I mean, the collection is probably not too far away now because, you know, the last issue is next month, and then so.
Yeah, and I already know two people alone that I've talked to, you know, one at work and then one at wrestling, have picked it up, and we've talked about it, and it's just a good feeling that when you can expand, you know, the horizons, and that it you know, kind of the whole way some people have found DC Comics was through, you know, Batman Begins or whatever, you know, 20 years ago. And now we're being able to do that again.
Don't say that was 20 years ago. It makes me feel ancient. Like, I remember seeing that movie. It's like I still sometimes think of myself as a new comic book reader, and I'm like, no, I've been reading for 20 years. There's nothing new about me in the comic book world now.
I've had a pull box for 23 years at a comic shop. All right. So like we've been going. So you know, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, no, this book is a lot of fun. I can't wait till it is. It's one of those books that you'll be able to pick up and hand to somebody. Like, here's what you need to know about Mr. Terrific. And then the art, I mean, we talk about it every time too. DeLandro's art.
Yeah, it's got honestly, you just need to say, don't worry about those bits at the start of each issue. Just enjoy the year one story. And, you know, it's really well drawn. It feels really down to earth in a really good grounded way. Character development's solid. But it still has connections to the DC universe because Batman already exists, the Spectre already exists, and, you know, and Black Lightning obviously already exists. And I like that, much like Superman might have been a gateway for people to like Mr. Terrific, they might read this and go, oh, who's this is Black Lightning character? He seems cool. And maybe that leads to, you know, another book down the line. So anyway, what are you rating issue 5 of Mr. Terrific year 1?
I'm going to give this an 8.
I think I'll agree with, I think it would be an 8.5, but I'm going to dock at that half point for the opening few pages and just not caring about that stuff as much.